The world seems to have a fascination with small cars. These minis are being prepared for racing at the Goodwood Revival. Their owners almost certainly belong to one of the 700 mini clubs around the world. But other small cars haven't survived so well. After the Second World War, virtually every country except America toyed with small cars. There was a feeling that the smaller the car, the cheaper it would be to build, so more people could own one. Germany, which before the war had pioneered the VW Beetle, the people's car, led the way. Messerschmitt introduced a three-wheeler that looked more like one of their aeroplanes than a car. They called it a scooter with a roof. Its critics nicknamed it Snow White's coffin. It was about as spacious as a bathtub. Fiat produced the Cinquecento and built 4 million of them. And in 1956, Italian designers gave the world the Isetta. It was built by BMW. Will never burst. By day, Neil Foster is an airline captain flying from Stansted. By night, he's a bubble car fiend. He has his own, of course, or at least he has all the parts needed to make one. Someday soon, Neil hopes to be driving around Cambridge in an immaculate example of a bubble car. That is, if he can work out how all the parts go together.
I got this car about a year ago, and when I brought it home I assumed it was going to be serviceable and just about MOTable. So I started to do the bits and pieces that needed doing, the brakes and things like that. And the more bits I took off, the more bits I found that were faulty, and it just developed till I took it completely apart with no option. And I've sent the bodywork away to be overhauled by a specialist company. The engine went away to be overhauled by a specialist company, and I've done the rest of the bits that are sat here. This bubble car, it's a BMW Isetta 300, so this is actually manufactured in 1963. Some parts are readily available and you can almost go down and get them from the local car shop. Other parts are very, very specialised. The front shock absorbers and combined spring units had to come from Germany, where a company are now manufacturing the whole unit. It's not actually a refurbished but a freshly built unit. Other things are quite easy. It's got mini tyres on it, although they're not the exact tyre. They're a good safe tyre and they're available down the road. Sourcing bits, waiting for bits, people letting you down or having to rely on outside sources, I think it would be a dream come true, actually having it finished, because it's taken so long to get this far and it's taken so much energy and so much money. So hopefully, yes, dream come true.
Meanwhile, Neil has created a website called bubblecar.co.uk on the basis that if he can't have the real thing, he'll have a virtual one. Now, some might accuse me of taking the easy option, but I've decided to try and buy a bubble car, one that's complete and ready to go. I found a bubble car for sale. It's selling at £5,250 or nearest offer. I found out the gentleman who owns it goes by the name of Don Swallow, and he keeps it at an airfield somewhere in Norfolk. There's only one problem. There are hundreds of wartime airfields in East Anglia, most of them in Norfolk. Don?
Juliet, you found us then?
Excellent. Yeah, I was slightly worried. I mean, there are a lot of airfields around here, aren't there?
Yes, there were 72, and
that's my problem. So this is it? Him, her?
Yes, this is him. This is Rudolph.
Oh, it's Rudolph, okay.
Rudolph, yes, yes.
He's in brilliant nick, isn't he?
He is indeed, yes, he's lovely.
Is this down to you, or...?
No. I bought him like this. Gentleman restored him and
when did you buy
did a
him?
super
How long
job.
have you had him?
About 3-4 years,
right.
Something like that, you know.
Why do you like bubble cars? I mean, it's got to be said every time you look at them, they make you laugh, but what else?
Two things really, I suppose. They're very economical to run if you've got one as a little classic car. They're very economical. And of course, secondly, there's no work to them. They're very basic, you know, there's nothing electronic about them at all. They're really hammer and screwdriver jobs, that's all they are. Well, this is a three-wheeler. They made some four-wheelers. And the reason the three-wheeler is more popular, which it was, is because it was cheaper on road tracks.
Why? Because it only had three wheels?
It only had three wheels. And what they did with the others, the four wheels, they were very close coupled, very close together, even though there were four, so you still paid the extra tax.
What do they like to drive?
It's fun. Everyone sort of looks and says, you know, what's that? We've never seen.
Things are completely bonkers.
That's right. Youngsters especially, you know, they quite find them quite funny. You know, they do, honestly.
I think everybody finds them quite funny. They're sort of like little noddy cars, aren't
That's right.
they, really?
Yes, they are.
So, Don, is it all right if I have a go in it?
Yes, yes. Be my guest. Would you like to? Would you like to sit in?
I'd love to sit in. Oh, Rudolph, bless. Right.
All right, you're all in? Okay.
Fine. You don't so much drive a bubble car as dance with it. Rudolph and I are about to do the tango. Even when it was first produced, the makers of the bubble car never pretended it was a high-performance car. Its one-cylinder, four-stroke engine meant it could get from 0 to 60 in about a week, and if you took a bend too tightly, you were likely to topple over. At one point, bubble cars were being assembled in Brighton, and by the time they ceased production, over 160,000 Isettas had hit the road. Not quite in the same league as the Mini, but not bad for a sewing machine on wheels. It's just hysterical. I feel like I'm on a ride-on lawnmower, but with a hood, and I do not feel safe. You get this feeling that if there's a little gust of wind, you're just going to topple over. So, good fun, but I would not want to take on the M25 in it. Next time on Vintage and Veteran, they made 500, only 2 survive. HMS Cavalier is a tribute to the men who served in destroyers. Lovingly restored in Suffolk, this motor torpedo boat is a reminder of the years when Britain stood alone. And on Southampton Water, the RAF's high-speed launch, inspired by Lawrence of Arabia. They call them the Spitfires of the sea. Oh, and by the way, I did buy a bubble car, but unfortunately for Don, not his.